A few months ago, I asked a question that seemed like a long shot. Should New Zealand get its own Mogami? Well, the wait for an answer is over. On May 7, New Zealand's Defense Minister confirmed that the government has shortlisted the upgraded Mogami and the Type 31 as potential replacement for its aging Anzac class frigates. This is great news, considering the state of its current frigates TKH and Temana, and the fact that New Zealand's safe isolation is dead. Which design is best for New Zealand? Let's dive into the video. To understand why the Mogami and Type 31 matter, we first have to look at the reality. The Royal New Zealand Navy has just 8 vessels consisting of 2 OPVs, 2 IPVs, a replenishment oiler, a multi-role vessel, and 2 Anzac-class frigates. Most of the fleet is near retirement age and will need replacement by the mid-2030s. The Anzac class itself is considerably less armed than the Australia ones, with its anti-ship capability only coming from the onboard Super Sea Sprite. Although these frigates will receive a $300 to $600 million upgrade, they will still won't be as capable as brand new warships. To fix this, the government published a defense capability plan, which includes boosts to naval capabilities, including enhanced strike capabilities, uncrewed surveillance, new marine helicopters, new vessels, and naval-based revitalization. Furthermore, New Zealand now gets the motivation, although an unwanted one, to accelerate the modernization of its fleet to protect its maritime interests. Chinese warships performing a gunnery exercise in the Tasman Sea last year become a wake-up call that New Zealand's geographic isolation won't protect it from threats to the extent it once did. New Zealand might soon face the increasing prospect of hostile forces on its doorstep, using coercion and naval pressure to redetermine the rules in the Indo-Pacific. So, this month, the government announced the 2 shortlisted candidates, the Japanese upgraded Mogami and the British Type 31 frigates. This isn't a random selection. These 2 designs are being chosen by New Zealand's closest allies, Australia and the UK, respectively. As the name suggests, the upgraded Mogami is the enhanced evolution of the Mogami frigates in service with the GMSDF. It's 10 meters longer, almost a meter wider, and will displace 1,000 tons more than the original. This size enlargement will allow the ship to carry more sensors and armaments and provide enough room for future growth. The mast will be rotated 45 degrees from the ship's centerline for improved performance and will be enlarged to accommodate a much more powerful ISA radar. Moreover, it will also be equipped with an improved hull-mounted sonar and carry 32-cell Mark 41 VLS, doubling the capacity of the original. Basically, it's a larger and more combat-capable version, emphasizing air warfare, not just anti-submarine warfare, found in the standard Mogami. Furthermore, the Australian configuration will include Australian-specific requirements like the NSM missiles instead of the Type 12 found in Japanese ships, and possibly Australian CMS and sensors in future builds. The Mogami design emphasizes a high-tech frigate built for a modern, high-threat environment. It's arguably the most advanced frigate in the world in terms of integrated technology, including a high degree of automation and 360-degree CIC, which gives the crew maximum efficiency and total situational awareness. Standing in Japan's way is the British heavyweight, the Type 31 frigate. Based on the Arrowhead 140 design, which originates from the Danish frigate Iver Huitfeldt class, the ship could be described as having a plug-and-play architecture, emphasizing adaptability and flexibility depending on the user's needs. Using this approach, the ship could be built cheaper and faster than comparable ships. It also features large mission bays to carry 6 modular mission containers. The design has already secured export orders from Poland and Indonesia, building on a successful legacy started by Denmark, and is scheduled to enter Royal Navy service in 2027. Although in the UK case, the program has experienced schedule delays. When you put them side by side, these two are remarkably comparable. Although the Type 31 is slightly shorter, it packs a much wider beam for extra stability. Speed and endurance are nearly identical, however their weapon suites tell 2 different stories. The upgraded Mogami uses a heavy-hitting 5-inch Mark 45 main gun and C-ram, whereas the British design uses Bofors 57 and 40mm combo. Both pack a 32-cell Mark 41 VLS, but Australia's configuration will lean on the ESSM, while the Type 31 relies on the C-Scepter. So which design is best for New Zealand? On paper, the upgraded Mogami seems like the better candidate. It's more advanced than the Type 31 and packs a bigger gun. Both the New Zealand and Australian navies have worked together for decades and have become closely aligned both in ships they use and the way they train. Some experts even argue that since the Navy has been underfunded for decades, it will be difficult for New Zealand to grow within a reasonable time frame and at a reasonable cost without aligning future capabilities and training with Australia. The current Anzac class themselves were proof of those ties. Both navies have been sharing logistics, training infrastructure, maintenance, and spare part arrangement, all of which are essential force multiplier for the smaller New Zealand Navy. If New Zealand picks the upgraded Mogami, a modern version of the Anzac model could re-emerge in this era. And if we also count Japan as the original user of the Mogami design, it could form a Mogami wall from Tokyo to Canberra to Wellington, reshaping trilateral naval interoperability in the Indo-Pacific. But let's play devil's advocate. The upgraded Mogami is expensive. We discussed this a few weeks ago in my video, that the cost for an upgraded Mogami has increased past 100 billion yen, roughly $1 billion. This climb is expected to continue to rise in the coming years, driven by inflation, yen depreciation, and global chain disruption. Australia has already been forced to double its commitment just to keep the program on track amidst uncertainty. Moreover, operational research has repeatedly demonstrated that the New Zealand Navy needs 3 to 4 frigates to ensure the availability of 1 or 2 ships at any given time. So, Wellington cannot just buy 2 Mogamis to replace TKH and Temana on a 1-for-1 basis. It needs double its frigate fleet so it can protect its waters by itself. Australia won't always be there when New Zealand is in trouble, so it must be independent. The government indeed pledged to spend $9 billion on new expenditures, but doubling the frigate fleet will cost almost half of that budget and potentially reduce other essential defense projects to get proper funding. For this reason, the Type 31 is the best solution. Yes, it's less advanced and less armed, but it's more affordable compared to the upgraded Mogami. The UK government ordered the Type 31 with a fixed price of around £250 million per ship, or half the cost of the upgraded Mogami. Even after adjusting for inflation and other costs, I bet the price New Zealand must pay won't exceed 2/3 of Mogami. Furthermore, in his statement, the defense minister expects the future fleet to support a broad range of functions from combat to HIDR operations. This broad spectrum of mission can only be performed effectively if the ship has mission base. The upgraded Mogami doesn't have that, so it doesn't have the mission flexibility that the Type 31 has, which can carry up to 6 container-sized mission modules. But I guess everyone here can already guess which design is gonna be the winner, isn't it? It's like the writing is already on the wall for this race. And the defense minister's statement strongly hinted at this too. He referred first to the Japanese Mogami class frigate selected by Australia before mentioning the Type 31 and repeatedly emphasizing interoperability and efficiency. If that doesn't look like a clear, right-to-your-face type of hint, I don't know what it is. And I also feel the same. Despite its higher price tag, I couldn't think of better candidates for New Zealand than the upgraded Mogami, unless there's a massive force that prevents that from happening. We will see. What do you think of New Zealand's frigate replacement race between the upgraded Mogami and the Type 31? Do you think this is a one-sided contest for the Mogami? Let me know in the comment section below. Thank you for watching everyone. I'll see you in the next one.